My name is Rudy Valdez, and I live in Brooklyn, and I'm a documentary filmmaker.
The minute she heard that door knock and he said they had a warrant for her arrest, and I turned around and saw her, hugging the kids. That was tough because she knew already.
So The Sentence is a film that I made in sort of response to my sister being given a 15-year prison sentence for a first-time nonviolent offense. I remember the day that she was given the sentence, and I remember thinking, is somebody going to come and help? Is somebody going to come and fight for us? And I remember being in that courtroom and finally having that sort of lightning bolt hit me, and it saying, nobody's coming. And so this was the response to that. I became a filmmaker to make this film. Gave everything else up in my life, my career. I was an actor and a teacher and a writer, and I've started to figure out the power that documentary film had, and I sort of dedicated my life to it.
I want to try and tell your story, figure out a way to make something good out of all of this.
Thank you, brother.
So my sister was sentenced to 15 years for a first-time nonviolent offense because she was the girlfriend of a drug dealer. And because he was killed in a drug deal gone wrong, they basically put her up as though she were him. And because she was knowledgeable of what he was doing, she was charged under the conspiracy laws. So the prosecution originally asked for an 89-year sentence for her, but the mandatory minimum was 15 years. The judge could go no lower than that. And she received this sentence nearly 6 years after the fact. She had 2 kids and was pregnant with her third, actually, when the government came 5 years later to indict her, and then was allowed to go home to deliver her baby before reporting back to sentencing. So her youngest daughter was 6 weeks old when she was sent away.
Hello?
This call is from a federal prison.
Here.
Hello, Mom.
I love you, princess.
And then the documentary eventually came to fruition because I had flown back. I was living in New York City this entire time, and this was happening in Michigan. I flew back to film my oldest niece's dance recital. And completely organically, while I was filming, Cindy calls from prison to talk to her daughter who's going to go to her dance recital, and she says a line to her, and she says, you know what Mommy's going to do when you go to dance? I'm going to lay down in my bed, I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to think about you. And that was the moment that I became a filmmaker. That was the moment that this became a documentary, because I knew that I had an opportunity to tell a story that you don't normally get to hear. You don't get to hear about the kids left behind. You don't get to hear about the families left behind. You don't get to hear about the communities left behind.
What we cannot wrap our heads around as a family, as her brother, as her children, is the sentence that she received.
Missing my daughters grow up. That's what I was sentenced to.
Right after Sundance, right after we premiered, I got a call 2 days later from a Republican senator who said, thank you for making this film. I'd love to bring it to Capitol Hill. And just a few weeks ago, Senator Mike Lee from Utah, a Republican, and Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey, a Democrat, in a bipartisan effort, brought the film to Capitol Hill. And to me, I'm obviously over the moon with all of the success of the film commercially and critically and all those things, but that's the promise I made to my family. I'm exhausted, but I'm going to continue to fight and continue to show this film until, some change happens.
I carry your heart, right?
Mm-hmm, and I carry your heart.